Still some of the students are enter with their names. You please leave the room and enter with your register number. Every time it is not my duty to inform you. It's your responsibility. Otherwise, simply I put an option those numbers. I mean those names especially. Please leave the room those who are with their names and enter with your register number. Right. Hey, good morning to one and all.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, right. So, okay, ma. So in the last class, we tried to follow the procedure of the, or try to learn in the procedure of your cylinder and your connecting rod. Right. So due to some interruptions, we we are in between your connecting rod design procedure. Right. Anyway, but again and again, I'm repeating the same thing in each and every class, right? Especially in case of your IC engine parts, especially you have to be listen carefully. Especially in case of your IC engine parts, the connecting rod is very important part to be designed, right? And that is the reason why in the last class I'm strictly focusing on their dimensions, especially whether you are following it or not due to interruptions, I don't know. But thing is, once if you know the design procedure of connecting rod, then only it is easy for you for both of, I mean, there are both advantages you are having. One thing is, for case of your design of a connecting rod, because in many number of engineering, what we called experiments are carried out. Your projects are carried out based on your connecting rod and IC engine cylinder head. Like already mentioned in your previous class, I myself done the project on your cylinder, I mean, carried out my project on your cylinder head. The same procedure I followed, right? In the same manner, if you go through your, what we call your Google search or something like that, your BTech projects or MTech projects are, many number of experiments are carried out. Many of the students have done their experiments on connecting rod, especially. Either by changing their material, either by changing the, changing their, what we called pressures or remaining things, what we are discussed here, right? So you please be paying attention, especially in this case of connecting rod. That is the one aspect. In the second aspect, in your examination point of view, in the examination point of view also the same thing, right? This procedure, this design procedure and problem, right? At any stage of your design procedure, they may ask your question in case of connecting rod. So that is the reason why I keep on saying, keep on stressing this particular connecting rod. And you are having especially cylinder and this connecting rod and piston. These are the three important parts only you are having. Remaining parts are very, very small parts to be designed. These three parts are very, very important parts in case of your, especially in the IC engine parts. That is the reason this chapter is very, very easy, right? And next point is I want to mention one small announcement, Amma, in the next class. In the next class, that means on Saturday's class, Amma, you try to come up with your doubts, Amma. You try to come up with your doubts in case of your sliding contact bearing and rolling contact bearing and this particular IC engine part, that means connecting rod especially. If you come up with your doubt, I spare some time with you, especially on the Saturday's class, and you come up with your doubts so that it is easy for me to clarify at this stage itself, right? After we are moving or after proceeding the further chapters, it is very, very difficult for us to clarify the doubts, right? So from the next week onwards, directly enter into the problems of your connecting rod. So 2 to 3 classes is sufficient because same design procedure will apply to problematic point of view also. So it is easy for you to solving the problems, right? So that you please come up with your doubts, especially in case, sliding contact bearings and rolling contact bearings, and especially this connecting rod, what we have to cover in this class. Okay, right, fine. Now directly we are entering into your connecting rod. Right. So already in the last class, I already explained there are 4 steps will be there in case of your design of a connecting rod. You are having 4 steps. 4 parameters are required while designing of your connecting rod. Again and again, I'm repeating, the first and foremost step is dimensions of your cross section. Dimensions of your cross section, normally or frequently, very, very frequently, we are using the cross section of I section. That is crystal clear. There is no doubt. We are using the standard cross section, I section. Okay, that is the first point. I already mentioned in the last class also, right? So due to some interruptions, you may not follow. Simply how to follow now itself, no problem. Right. So the first and foremost step is you try to follow the dimensions of your cross section. Here the cross section is I section. Now you please understand the dimensions. You please understand the dimensions. Here I am providing some standard dimensions. Here I am providing some standard dimensions. And I already mentioned that some of the students may got the doubt, why we have to follow these dimensions? Why not we have to go for the another dimensions? You may have that particular doubt in your mind, right? For the justification, I already mentioned, after taking the cross section, then you have to go for your calculation of moment of inertia, right? So by calculating these ratios, those ratios of with respect to x-axis and with respect to y-axis, you are having some range of value 3 to 3.5. If it is in between 3 to 3.5, then only you are having some satisfactory result. right? Yeah, because these are the experimental verifications. These are the only, see, whenever I said that you have to follow only in between these range, you cannot exceed those values, means if you are exceeding those values, then you are having some problem in operating conditions. That is the basic point, Amma. That is the basic point, right? So please try to understand, try to remember these dimensions, Amma. Very, very important point. Maybe it may not be available in data book. If it is available, it is very good, no problem. If it is available in your data book, these dimensions, it is very good, no need to remember. Otherwise, you please remember these dimensions in order to avoid confusion, and in order to, I mean, for time saving, for being a time saving also, you have to remember these values. You have to remember these standard dimensions. Okay, second step is also over. That means your standard cross section is I section, then you are having standard dimensions. You have to mention the standard dimensions. So after completion of the standard dimension, then you have to go for analysis, right? So first you choose the cross section, then dimensions. Okay, fine, it is over. Then you have to go for experimental verification. That means in operating conditions, right? Normally it will experiencing, I already mentioned that you are having two types of stresses will experience it here. Two types of stresses, right? So in your experimental verification, you are having design procedure. Right. So in your design procedure, you are having two types of stresses, right? That means alternative stresses you are having, compressive stress and tensile stresses. And you are having compressive stress as more effective than tensile stresses, so that I consider compressive stress, right? So this is for recollecting, Amma. This is for recollecting, right? So compressive stress and tensile stress. Next, compressive stress is only you have to consider. Why not tensile stress? Means tensile stress has less impact and compressive stress has more impact. So that we consider compressive stress. So that we consider compressive stress for your explanation. And this object is look like of your strut, so that we have to use a Rankins formula. Where we get the Rankins formula, those things already I will explain in your last class. Rankins formula is available especially in your columns and stress chapter, especially in your strength of materials. Especially in your strength of materials, you already observed this this particular Rankins formula. You already found in your this Rankins formula in columns and stress chapter, especially on the particular columns and stress chapter. You are having some assumptions, some basic conditions you are having when both ends are hinged, one end is free and another end is hinged. Likewise, you are having some basic considerations of your length value, L equal to L by 2, L by root 2. Likewise, you are having some standard values, right? Those form and those concept is applied in this case. Those concepts are to be applied in this case. Buckling plays a very, very important role. Here, the buckling will be possible along both x-axis and y-axis also. That means whatever the axis you may consider, no problem. Your connector rod may buckle along with x-axis, or your connector may buckle along with y-axis also. There is two possibilities. But according to your application, you have to consider. According to application, which one is very satisfactory, I already mentioned in your last class, with some standard values, right? So the thing is, while you are preparing or while you are designing of a connecting rod, these points you have to keep it in mind rather than your equations. Rather than the equations. The equations are already available in data book. No need to worry. Just remember the concept. Remember the concept, right? I section, standard dimension. What are the stresses that are applying? I mean, what are the stresses we are applying? These are the basic things we have to focus, right? In order to by heart of all those things simply. Okay, Amma, this is very, very, very important consideration. Next, after that, you have to be bothered about the moment of inertia with respect to x-axis and y-axis. I already mentioned here also. You already are having, you came across all those things in your last class. So by assuming that you are having both equally strong in x-axis and y-axis, you are having the value Ixx equal to 4 times of the Iyy. Ixx equal to 4 times of the Iyy, right? So whenever you are having Ixx value and Iy value, which one you have to consider and which one you have to ignore, it depends upon the type of application, like I already mentioned. Now what is your duty means based upon your dimensions, what you are having. Whatever having, that means along your length and along with your width, right? So based on those dimensions, you try to calculate the moment of inertia. You try to calculate the moment of inertia along x-axis and moment of inertia along y-axis. Now those ratios in between, if you're having those values and those values are in between 3 to 3.5 only, that means already you're having this point, right? See, the value lies between 3 and 3.5. It must be lie between 3 and 3.5. Then only your dimension is safe. That means your taking considerations are safest considerations. Every time in case of a design, whatever the parameters you have to consider, you have to check with your standard dimensions or standard parameters. Then only you can say that these dimensions are safe. Otherwise, you have to redesign your machine component. You please understand this point, Amma. You please understand this point. What is the point here? Suppose if there is any assumption like your sliding contact bearing and rolling contact bearing, if there is any assumptions means you can consider whatever the value you are having, no problem, right? It is purely based on the trial and error, right? Suppose I am considering L value is 50 and D value is 100. Those dimensions may satisfy or may not satisfy. How do you judge? Whether these dimensions are safe or not? You are having some standard parameter. Suppose if you consider some in sliding contact bearing for centrifugal application, bearing pressure equal to 1.5 Newton per mm square. Then check with values with your L&D. If L&D is satisfied with 1.5, then your dimensions are safe. Otherwise, you have to redesign of your L&D values. Everywhere this concept is applied, Amma. Everywhere this concept applied whenever you are having design assumptions, right? So designing means you are having some considerations, some assumptions will be there, but it must be satisfy the standard notations and standard values. Okay, is this clear? And it is not possible to take as per your convenience because it is based on assumptions, so that I consider L value equal to 100 and D value equal to 200, so my design is safe. You cannot say like that, right? If you want to say whether it's right or wrong, there is some standard procedure will be available. You have to follow this procedure. That is the basic point, Amma. That is the basic point. You have to observe. Right. Here also, Amma, I'll tell you that you are having some standard notations, B equal to 40 and H equal to 5T. If you want to change your notations, it is your choice. No problem. No problem. But thing is, you have to verify. If it is satisfied, okay, fine. Your experimental is correct. Your experiment is correct. Then you can move forward to the further considerations, further calculations and further considerations. Okay, right. So this is the basic point in your standard dimensions and cross section. Next, automatically you can calculate about the loading condition. That is what we call as a buckling load. Here buckling is the main consideration. So you have to bother about the buckling load. So those buckling load can be calculated by using the standard relations. WB equal to sigma C into A by 1 plus A L by Kx square, and also can be calculated by using of maximum gas force. And see, still some of the students are entering. So okay, every time it is difficult for me to press admit and admit and admit.
Open answer link wadki.
Okay, no problem. There is no objection, Amma. You please enter your room, no problem. But thing is, you have to understand that is my intention. No problem. Right. right. So so this is the thing, Amma. So based on these two relations of WB, by equating of these two WB, you can calculate either gas force or factor of safety or remaining parameters, whatever we required. See, if you have any relations I am providing here, based on that you can calculate whatever the unknown parameters. You can easily calculate by equating of those two things. Right here, the buckling load will be sigma C into A, some relation. And another relation is you're having buckling load means based on your maximum gas force and pressure, factor of safety. So if you're having any unknown parameter, simply you have to equate of those two things and you will get the desired result. And one more point I have to specify in case of a design, any design. First, you try to observe the equation, Amma. First, you try to observe the equation and you try to analyze how these equations are implied to your design. That is also another important point. It is not just simply read on the equations and this equation is suitable for this component only and this equation suitable for that particular component only. It is not like that. It is not like that. First, read down the equation and how it is applied to your design component. Design component. Why I am consider only sigma c? Why not here you are having buckling load? I am considering the sigma c. Why I am taking only sigma c value? Why can't shear stress? Why not shear stress? Why not tensile stress? That point you have to be understand. It is not like that simply by heart. Understand the equation. Understanding equation is very, very important, right? So reading out the equation is very easy for me to move for the slides one over the other, right? It is easy for me to complete this design process in one class itself. One class itself, that is sufficient because there are only 4 steps. There are only 4 steps, right? But thing is, my intention is to try to understand why I am applying this equation. And if at all you are having inertia forces, is there any gravitation? I mean, is there any center of gravity is required? Is there any number of bolts are required? Is there any some other things are required? You please try to analyze yourself. Then you can easily came to know. Then you can easily came to know how the design procedure works for each and every component. For each and every component, right? I hope you understand what I am telling and what my approach is, actual approach is. All right. So this is how you supposed to calculate the first step, first step of your connecting rod. First step of your connecting rod. Just simply taking cross section, know the dimensions, and calculate the value of along x-axis and y-axis. Moment of inertia along x-axis and y-axis, and calculating the buckling load. That is the basic thing. That is the first and foremost step of your connecting rod. Right? Right. Very good. Next. So the factor of safety value will be available, no problem. Otherwise, simply you can consider the 5 to 6 value. You're not supposed to remember any values. Already almost all the values are available. If at all, if it is not there in your data book, you try to write down these values. If at all, if it is not there in your data book, there is no problem. You try to write down those values. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. Right? Right. So the factor of safety value will be available within the range of 5 to 6 only. Okay, fine. Now you have to move to the second step. So second step is nothing but simply you're having dimensions of the crank pin and piston pin. Simple saying that. So you're having a long heading, you're having dimension of the crank pin at the big end and the piston pin at the small end. Please put the heading as it is in an examination, no problem. But our intention is, simple intention is, try to find out the dimensions of your crank pin and piston pin, right? Now in order to estimating of these crank pin and piston pin, right? What are the parameters you required? What are the parameters you required for in order to determine these dimensions? Then you can write down the equation. Then you can easily write down the equation, that is sufficient. You please try to analyze yourself. What already you observe the crank pin and you already know the structure of piston pin also, right? In your previous classes, or maybe in this class, I mean in this semester, maybe you are having crank pin and piston pin. By observing these cross sections, by observing of those cross sections, now you try to analyze. You try to analyze what are the basic parameters you are supposed to concentrate. Then design is over. No need to look up your equations. Just simply check back your equations with what we have to observe. That is sufficient. Right? Is this right? You please try to recollect. You please try to understand the cross section of your crank pin and piston pin. Now you try to what are the required parameters in order to get the standard dimensions. In order to get the dimension of those piston pin and crank pin. Just try to think 1 minute at least. 1 or 2 minutes. Then the design is easy. There is nothing new in your design. Already you came across in your LA classes in DMM1. DMM1 also our approach is same thing. First try to understand the cross section and try to, then you try to design your machine component. That is sufficient. So no need to discuss anything. No need to open your mic unless or until I supposed to ask. If at all you try to post in your chat box, if you know the answer. No need to write down what I have displayed here. There is nothing there.
Lal.
Somebody is talking. If you know the answer, you can post your chat box. Definitely on Saturday class, please come up with your doubts. If at all, if you're not having doubt, definitely I will ask some questions on the particular class. I choose one person and definitely I will ask those questions. And all I told you that you please go through of your sliding contact bearing and rolling contact bearing problems, especially in exercise problems. Right? So those things are also supposed to ask on Saturday's class. Almost I asked since last 1 week. I'm asking since last week. You try to practice, try to practice, try to practice. Right. Anyway. So you are having, you try to observe the standard notations here. You are having some D value, some P value, some DC and LC, right? And DP, LP, likewise we are having, or you are observing those notations on your screen. Right. So here, while DC is represents the diameter of the crank pin and DP is the diameter of the piston pin. These are dimensions, crank pin and piston pin dimensions. Diameter, DC is the diameter and LC is the length. And here the allowable bearing pressure, because here we only focusing on the connecting rod, is purely on the piston. Pressure plays a very, very important role. Right? So pressure plays everywhere you are observing that pressure, bearing pressure. So allowable bearing pressure plays a very, very important role. So allowable bearing pressure, that means in case of a crank pin, the allowable bearing pressure may be taken as 7 Newton per mm square to 12.5 Newton per mm square. And for the piston pin, the allowable bearing pressure may be taken as 10.5 Newton per mm square to 15 Newton per mm square. Right? For a crank pin 7 to 12.5. For a piston pin, 10.5 to 15 Newton per mm square. So whenever I specify the value, please mention those values. Otherwise, if it is available in your data book, no need to worry. Otherwise, simply note down those values at least. It is very, very useful for you solving the problem, or at least for knowing the dimension. Because here the title itself, the heading itself, knowing the dimensions. How do you verify your dimensions, whether it's correct or not? Based on these things only. Because you may assume your dimension values, length of the crank pin and diameter of the crank pin. If at all one is unknown, then how do you judge that whether it's safe or not? Based on these bearing pressure values or thickness values or force values, whatever it is. Right? So that is another important consideration. So here, by equating of your gas force means here cross section is circular cross section, so that you are having pi f4 d square. Right? So you are having right. So gas force is FL equal to pi f4 d square into P, where P is the maximum gas pressure and D is the cylinder diameter or bore cylinder diameter or piston diameter in terms of mm. So units are, you please observe, follow the units what I have displayed here. right? Units are very, very important. Next, same thing will be applied to your what we call the piston pin also. So simply equating of your right force equation, then calculating of your area. So projected area into bearing pressure, DC into L into PBC. PBC means bearing. Bearing pressure on crank pin. PBC means bearing pressure, allowable bearing pressure and crank. PBP means bearing pressure and piston. Right? Notations are very, very important. Notations are very, very important. Right? If you know the crank pin, then piston pin is similar to that. No need to calculate. Right? No need to calculate means simply don't need to remember. No need to remember those parameters. Simply as easily you can copy paste those values. DC into LC into PBC and DP into LP into PVP. That is the basic thing. Right? Right. Now you are having, so already I told you that you have to simply equation of those FL value. FL value equal to DC into LC into PBC and FL equal to DP into LB into DPB. Right? The LC value should be considered in between 1.25 DC to 1.5 DC. 1.25 DC to 1.5 DC, and the value of DC and LC are determined from the above expression. So already you are having one equation. Based on those equation you can calculate. And the LP value can be taken as 1.5 dp to 2 dp. 1.5 dp to 2 dp. Right? So if at all if there is any unknown parameter, you can easily consider from the above expression FL equal to pi over 4 d square p into some value. Right? You are having pi over 4 d square into p value. And if there is any unknown parameter, simply you can go for an assumption and you have to satisfy with these results. You're supposed to satisfy with these results. There is no other way. Right. So again, in case of second step, again I'm repeating, you please follow. In case of second step, we try to determine the dimensions of a crank pin and piston pin. That is our aim. First step is dimensions of a connecting rod, that is I section. Second thing is dimensions of a crank pin and piston pin. Second step. So that you need dimensions means length and diameter and bearing pressure values are basic things you are supposed to have. You have to have in the dimensions. Right? So simply we write down the equations of those bearing pressure value and your length of the crank pin and length of the piston pin, range of the values. Then directly you can calculate based on those equations, you will get the value of dimensions of your crank pin and piston pin. But only point is here you're supposed to remember here on what aspect. That means here the important role is bearing pressure plays a very, very important role. Bearing pressure plays a very, very important role. If you know the range of the bearing pressure value, then it is easy for you to design of your dimensions of a crank pin and piston pin. Dimensions of a crank pin and piston pin. Okay, is this clear? So very, very important relation, Amma. Very small relation also, compare that of your connecting rod. I already told you that, compare that of your first step. First step is very difficult step, not difficult, but the lengthy procedure is there for the first step. In the examination also, it takes time for the first step only. Remaining step just simply copy paste. Very simple equations, very simple equations. And I already told you that you please follow these design procedure steps that are available in your data book or not. Data book or not. If at all it is available, then it is easy for you. And one more thing, Amma, in the examination, if at all it is a mid-examination, if at all I am asking for write down the design procedure for connecting rod, then it is easy for you to simply copy paste if it is available. That is the reason why I asked you to follow the data book. What are the equations that are supposed to read on here? If at all if it is matches in your data book, you please note down. You please make a mark on your data book. Then it is easy for you to find out in your examination. Simply copy paste. This examination is simply open book examination. Simply saying that it is an open book examination unless or until if you identify the correct parameters. Otherwise, it is a difficult thing. Same thing is explained in your for your seniors also, but they are neglected my words and they pay the price. And they pay the price also, right? So that at the earliest stage itself only, I'm keep on saying the same point. keep on saying the same point every day. It is an open book examination. You carry your data book, simply write down the equations and calculate the required parameter. That is sufficient. Unless until it is a theory question. Theory question means it's your headache. You have to read on. There is no choice. If at all it is a problem, then almost 120 or 130 students are get through the examination easily. If at all they know and to identify and don't know to identify what are the required parameters and your data book especially. Right? Without data book, you cannot do anything. Right? So this is the second step, Amma. Second step. Right? Okay, fine. Now you try to observe the third step. Third and important step, not okay, third point especially, it is also very, very important point. That is the size of the bolt for securing the big end cap. That means in order to tighten off your big end cap, you try to having the size of the bolt. Number of size of the bolt is required. So whenever you are having the size of the bolt, please understand the term size of the bolt. That means you try to understand how many number of bolts are required. That is the first thing. That the first point you have to keep in your mind. Whenever you are having the terminology required, you required a size of the bolt. Size of the bolt means you required length and you require your diameter. You require your diameter and what type of stress that you will experiencing. That means stress is the important point, dimension is the important point, and number of bolts. How many number of bolts are required? These are the important points. These are the just basic things that are required while observing that particular component, machine component. Suppose if you are having a shaft, suppose if you consider a shaft, what is the required parameters? You can consider length of the shaft and diameter of the shaft. That is the first and foremost thing, immediate by observation. Length and diameter are the two important parameters to be determined. After that, based on the application, whether it is a torsion shear stress or compressive stress or tensile stress, then it is purely based on the application, that particular component. That is, you have to develop yourself for the any component, any machine component. Here the size of the bolt. Size of the bolt means, as I told you, the number of bolts, whether the number of bolts are required or not. And already you know that number of, what is the equation for number of bolts and diameter and size and all those things are already, you know, in your LA classes, right? In your previous design also I already explained what is the equation for your number of bolts or diameter. Simple equation pi over 4 something d square n into sigma c or something like that you are having. Same equation will be applied here also. Right? So it may be tensile stress or it may be compressive stress, depends upon the application. Right? So those things you have to observe. Those things you have to observe. Right? Right. Here, you please observe that it is the size of the bolt for securing the big end cap. So the bolts and the big end cap are subjected to tensile force. Right. Here it is a tensile force, so that you are having sigma T. If it is a compressive force, you are having sigma C. That is the basic point. Right? No need to remember or no need to anything. Just read down the statement. You will get the answer. Design procedure is like that only. You have to learn. Your approach will be like this only. If you are by-hearting, it is only useful for your examination. And those who want to become a design engineer, they have to focus on these things. And those who want to learn their CAD softwares, mechanical softwares, on this particular case also, these things are necessary. Right? Anyway, so you are having which correspond to the inertia force. Whenever you are having a tensile stress, we are having a inertia force due to the reciprocating force at the top end at center on the exhaust stroke. Then you are having inertia equation Fi is equal to mr omega square r cos theta plus cos 2 theta by L by R. Right. So where you are having this equation? Where you are having this equation? Are you came across this equation in your earlier classes? On what subject especially you are having this equation? Can anyone post your chat box? Where do you find this equation? Please post on chat box, not on your mic. Your answer or your response will be on your chat box. Inertia force Fi is equal to mr omega square r cos theta plus cos 2 theta by L by R. Nobody know the answer. Nobody came across this equation. This is very, very strange. Already I hope you cover or you came across this particular equation, because already I mean, for your seniors also same question I asked for them and they replied very fastly. But nobody is responding. All that, I mean, there is almost 100 members are there in this room. Or simply, are you sleeping? If you're not posting any answer, means simply you are sleeping. So classless are చెప్పుకుంటే వెళ్ళిపోతుంటారమ్మా. Simply just simply have to open this link and leave it as it is like. That is why they are not responding. So still 1 more minute I have to spare. So nobody knows the answer. Right, definitely I have to inform this point to your, especially Gopal Krishna sir, right? All right. So already you are having this equation in your dynamics of machinery, especially. Dynamics of machinery, you are having these kind of equations. I mean, these kind of what we call equation, especially you already observe. Mr omega square r cos theta plus cos 2 theta by L by R. Please refer your DOM textbook, right? Kinematics of machinery, SS Ratan or some other textbook, whatever it is, right? It is your choice, no problem. You please go back to your textbook and you please refer those equations where we apply this equation also, right? Okay, anyway, fine. So whenever you're having inertia forces, you are having these equations to be applied. See, already this topic is over, Amma. I hope, because already this topic is over in your LA class itself. MR omega square cos theta. These equations already came across. We came across in your LA classes. I already know that, because your seniors are responded according to this question last time, right? So based on those things only, I told you. If at all, if it's not covered, no problem. At least you try to learn in this stage itself, no problem. There is a derivation. You are having a derivation, and so that according to the derivation, you try to learn. Okay, there is no problem. If at all, if it is not covered, there is no issue. There is no issue. If at all, if it is covered, you please go back to a textbook and refer. Okay, right. There is no more point to discussion on this thing. Okay, so this equation is very, very important, Amma. So every equation is very, very important, right? Already all those equations are derived equations, and those derived equations are, we have to pick up those equations according to the situation, according to our situation. That is a design. Simple. Okay. Now simply have to equate the, whenever you're having a top dead center, the angle of inclination of the crank with the line of stroke is 0. So that you are having mr omega square, right? 1 plus r by L, where mr is the mass of the reciprocating part, and omega is the angular speed of the engine in radius per second, and r is the radius of the crank, and L is the length of the connecting rod. Okay, right. Now you are having what are the forces that are acting on the bolt can be calculated as pi by 4 d square into sigma t into nb, where nb is the number of bolt. Already this equation you came across in your earlier class and in the earlier design also. Whenever you're having a number of bolt, this is the standard equation, pi by 4 dB square into sigma t into n. Sigma t means here it is a tensile stress. If it is a compressed stress, we are having sigma c, right? This is a standard equation, right? Now we are having next step. Now equating the force equation, Fi equal to, Fi means mr omega square. So 1 plus some cos theta by r by L or something like that. And this equation pi for dc square sigma t into n. Then you try to calculate the required parameters, required unknown parameters based on this equation. Okay. So the core diameter, I mean major diameter dB value is obtained for dCb equal to 0.84 times of the dB. dCb equal to 0.84 times of the dB. If at all, if it is available in data book, no problem. Otherwise, you please note down. These are the standard value. Please note down this value. DCB equal to 0.84 dB. Right? Okay, fine. Right. Last one, Amma. You are having the last step. So thickness of the big end cap. Right? So the thickness of the big end cap may be determined by treating the cap as a freely supported and at the cap bolt centers are loaded by the inertia forces. Right? Then theta equal to 0. And this load is to be assumed as a uniformly distributed load. So why I am considering all those things in order to go for the analysis purpose? Simply you are assuming that it is a beam, it is freely supported, and assuming that the load is to be uniformly distributed. Then you're supposed to calculate all those relations, Amma. So MC equal to Ft into x by 6, and the remaining parameters, section modulus, and all those things you are having the equations, Amma, where x is the distance between the bolt center. That can be calculated as diameter of the crank pin or big end of the bearing plus 2 times of the thickness of the bearing liner plus clearance. This relation is very, very important. What I am reading here is very, very important in order to calculating purpose for your problem especially. Maybe it is not available in a data book. If it is available, okay. I hope it is not available. Please note down of these values. Please note down of these values, especially this thickness of the big end cap. Very, very important. So BC is the width of the cap and it is equal to the length of the crank pin. Length of the crank pin means LC. See, whatever I have written down here, this is useful for your problem solving technique. Whenever I am solving of the problem, simply I have to use each and every step as it is laid. Each and every step as it is laid. There is no deviation for your problem solving. So that please be carefully follow the design procedure. So sigma B is the allowable bending stress for the material of the cap. So you know the section modulus. So all these values are available and bending stress values. So finally you will get the answer of Fi into x by BC into TC square. So from this expression you can calculate the value of TC, that is thickness. Our requirement is thickness. You can calculate the thickness value here, right? And the design of a connecting rod should be checked for wiping stress, that is bending stress due to inertia force on the connecting rod. So this is also another important point, and this can be calculated, and this note is useful for your especially while you are checking purpose. This useful for your checking purpose, especially while you are solving the problems, right? So this is how you supposed to write the design procedure of your connecting rod, right? And the many, I already told you that many number of experiments are carried out on the connecting rod by changing the any one parameter. So you please write down of all those parameters once. And if at all, if any student is interested, right, interested in changing the parameters or changing the dimensions or particularly focusing on any one particular location or particular area. It may be a pressure area, it may be a heating purpose, it may be a lengthwise, it may be a diameter wise, whatever it is, as per your convenience. Then you can change and you can check yourself whether whatever the required assumptions, what you have considered, it may be safe or not. You yourself check while reading of all those 4 steps. మనకు మనమే చెక్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కూడా, right? So you please observe, if at all if the students are, because afternoon session is completely you are having free, so that you please go through of these things, then only it is easy for you. It is easy for you for design purpose or anything to know clearly regarding of your mechanical subject especially, right? Right. So those who are very much interested on the software side, I mean mechanical software side or design side, you please go through of your design of your connecting rod in your net. You will find many number of results, especially on the connecting rod, right? Okay, fine. Now you please go through the each and every step for recollecting purpose. First one is the cross section and dimension of your connecting rod, that is I section, and calculate the buckling load. That is the first step. Second step is calculating the dimensions of your crank pin and piston pin. Crank pin and piston pin dimensions, crank pin and piston pin. And third one is simply you're supposed to calculate the size of the bolt. Amma. In the third step, is supposed to calculate the size of the bolt also. And fourth step is very easiest, that is thickness. Here you have to focusing only on, that means in the examination point of view, I'm saying that you try to focusing on the first step. If first step is correct, the main thing is almost, it is very easy for you to proceed further steps. First step is very important step. So in the next class, on Saturday's class, we try to solve the problem on connecting rod itself. Connecting rod by comparing with your design procedure, right? Each and every step is compared with your what we call your design procedure, so that it is easy for you to follow the steps, how you're supposed to calculate the problems, right? Okay, fine. So this is how you, that means in this IC engine part, you already covered two parts, especially design of a cylinder and design of your connecting rod. And third and important point is design of a piston. So that is also another important point. If it is over, then almost the second chapter is we are having the ending, amma. The remaining three parts are very simple parts. We are having very simple parts. Hardly takes one class only to cover the remaining parts, right? So next is completely purely based on the problems only. We have to focusing on the problems and the design procedure, what we left. So please be concentrated on the second chapter, as it is very easy. You have to secure 14 marks easily. You have to secure 14 or 16, whatever is the weightage. Full 14 marks you have to secure very easily, because there is no chance of asking of theory. Theory question means simply they may ask for design procedure, or simply they may ask for the operation of the connecting rod, or operation of what is the dry liners, what is wet liners. They may ask in this, on that manner only, right? But mainly focusing on the design procedure and problematic point, especially, right? So I hope you understand this class, amma, and thanks for your patience. And if I now told you that, please come up with your Saturday class with your doubts, amma. I have to spend 10 to 15 minutes on your doubts, and please post on your doubts on your chat boxes whenever supposed to ask particular person. Definitely I will focus on the particular persons. We have to ask your doubts. And already I mentioned that, amma, this is, everything is recorded, and your chat box is also recorded, right? The chat box is also recorded, so that and someone is thinking there is no chance of recording of your chat boxes. Some of the students are posting some hi buys and happy birthday, something like that, amma. Everything is recorded. If at all something is some HPS, something is, what we called anything is unknown matters or something like that, you have to post it. Those things are to be punishable, amma, because name is displayed, number is displayed, and registered number is, registered email is also displaying, right? So for your convenience, for your sake only, I am mentioning these points, amma. I already know those persons for different class, amma. Different, not only for my class, different class also. I already we already know, identify some of the persons, those who are posting, right? So you please be what we called. Please be aware of those things. Everything is to be recorded. Every voice is also recorded, including my voices and your voices, right? Right. If at all you are having any doubt, soon after, maybe next week, are posting on your YouTube links, amma. We are having a YouTube channels and YouTube links also. We are posting these videos, and you may, without any editing, I am posting, and you may listen. You may listen your voices as particular case, no problem, right? So that is the basic thing, amma. Please be patient on your class and thoroughly listen the classes. That is also very important, right? And try to ask some doubts, amma. Then only it is useful for you. Otherwise it is just simply my side, one side talking, just like that, simply what we called talking on the wall. If at all you are not responding anything, or teaching on the, just my teaching is for only those walls. If at all you are not responding, right? Thank you, ma. Thank you for your patience. Thank you very much.